In our dead wrong investigation, we exposed Phoenix and MCSO officers came to an unusual deal in the jail parking lot after a man in a mental health crisis died in their custody. Two agencies split that investigation and agreed not to interview each other. Now, experts told ABC15 Chief Investigator Dave Biscobine that raises some red flags.
And that's why Dave's back, pushing for top leaders to provide some answers here. He wants to know why the split investigation was okayed, and not just by police, but by the county attorney's office.
Tomorrow, April 20th, will mark my first anniversary as Maricopa County Attorney.
At Rachel Mitchell's bi-monthly press briefing, the county attorney began by touting her office's accomplishments and then opened it up to reporters.
So with that, I'll take your questions.
And we had questions about the in-custody death of Akeem Terrell. Here's a quick recap. He was in a mental health crisis, picked up for trespassing, taken into a cell, piled on, then left face down, handcuffed, and non-responsive. He would be pronounced dead at the hospital. In just hours after the death, here's an MCSO detective telling an MCSO sergeant about the deal made between Phoenix and their office.
We're not involved with interviewing any of Phoenix PD's people. They're doing that. And that's why also we push to talk to our people too.
The county attorney's office ended up clearing officers of criminal wrongdoing.
You don't talk to our guys, we won't talk to your guys. You think that's appropriate and okay?
Well, what I would say is this office does not direct law enforcement on how to conduct investigations. So perhaps you should direct your questions to those law enforcement agencies. We review what we're given by law enforcement. We review their investigations. And then if we feel like there's additional information that needs to be provided to us, we will further it back to law enforcement.
So in a way, you kind of do direct, though. You often do have prosecutors go to critical incidents. They're there to assist and to guide officers.
That's actually not correct.
Here's what it says in MCAO's own critical incident response protocol. Under the investigation section, quote, "The responsibilities of the on-scene prosecutor shall include the following: assist the case agent, aka the detective, with the interview of witnesses." And under interview with witnesses, the protocol also says, quote, "The prosecutor may be present, observe, and consult with the investigative agency in interviews of any witnesses." Now, let's pick up where we left off.
That's actually not correct.
Isn't that what it says in your policies? I think it's something...
We show up at scenes so that we can understand the scene. As a active trial attorney, I went out to scenes so that I could get a better understanding of the scene. I've observed interviews, etc. But I'm not there to direct an investigation.
MCAO's protocols also say they have the resources and personnel to be on call to respond to the scene of all critical incidents. But MCAO never had anyone show up to the scene for Akeem Terrell's death. Now, to be clear, Terrell died the year before Rachel Mitchell took over MCAO, but the person who okayed the split investigation was MCAO Director Tom Van Dorn, and he's still in the same job under Mitchell.
But, as someone who then reviews an investigation, is that something that you would feel comfortable with as a prosecutor, knowing that they have decided not to essentially investigate certain or interview certain people because they're on a different team?
That's not what I heard you say. I heard you say that there was a divvying up of the responsibilities of who would interview whom. If I got an investigation and I felt like somebody else needed to be interviewed, I would certainly ask law enforcement to do that.
Well, let's say that I'm doing, and I know it's not a clean analogy.
And Dave, I'm going to go to other people here.
No, I think I can do one more. I think it's important.
No, I think we can go on to someone else. Is there anybody else that has a question? Yes, sir.
I'm Investigator Dave Biscobine, ABC15, Arizona.
Some extra context before asking about Terrell's jail death. Dave asked questions about another scandal involving a Phoenix detective who botched murder evidence and is now impacting dozens of cases. We'll have more on that story in the coming days. You can catch up on our dead wrong investigation and all of Dave's reports at abc15.com/investigators.